What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Gob, and today I'm coming at you with a different style of content. Bad news bears though, you can hear this audio. I'm using a pair of Astros for my mic right now, so it's gonna sound like I'm in a MW2 pregame lobby. Nonetheless though, let's hop into this shit. Dude, Where's My Car was a movie that was released in the year 2000, if you don't know. It stars actors like Ashton Kutcher and Seann William Scott. It's a movie that's often dismissed as a stoner comedy built with absurd humor and slapstick jokes, but under its chaotic surface lies honestly a surprisingly layered satire of early 2000s culture. The basic SparkNotes version of this plot is just like two dim-witted best friends, Jesse, played by Ashton Kutcher, and Chester, played by Seann William Scott, both wake up after a wild night and they just cannot find Jesse's car. As they retrace their steps, they discover they've been involved in a convoluted web of alien cults, intergalactic technology, transgender strippers, and this mysterious piece of tech called the Continuum Transfunctioner. The plot is kind of seemingly aimless and nonsensical, but it's like a postmodern pastiche that mimics the structure of like a quest narrative, except like the holy grail for this movie is just a lost car. The movie kind of goes through various different themes, and the first ones I want to touch on are identity and memory. The film's amnesia conceit isn't just a plot device, it's kind of like a commentary on fragmented identity. Jesse and Chester spend the entire movie trying to reconstruct who they were the night before, revealing various alternate selves like thieves, saviors, traitors, idiots, and heroes. And this kind of reflects on a broader anxiety of early 2000s youth culture. It's kind of like the inability to define one's self in a post-ironic, brand-saturated, and media-oversaturated society. Their memory loss is kind of like a metaphor for disconnection from authentic identity. The next two sets of themes I want to touch on are consumerism and suburbia. Most of the film takes place in places like strip malls, fast food joints, and cookie-cutter suburbs, and these settings kind of reflect the bland uniformity and spiritual vacuity of late 90s and early 2000s consumer cultures. Throughout the movie, you can kind of get the gist that our two main characters are bound into submission by things like convenience and habit. The final two themes of this movie that I want to touch on are alienation and control. So the plot involving aliens, cults, and cosmic responsibility kind of satirizes the anxiety of millennial adulthood. You know, like suddenly being told that your actions matter in a world that you can barely understand. The Continuum Transfunctioner in the movie is just a nonsense gadget that doesn't exist in our real world. I mean, as far as we know, I guess. But in the movie, it kind of symbolically represents the overwhelming and meaningless nature of responsibility when not paired with maturity. Dude, Where's My Car was released right at the tail end of the 1990s, and it really captures a moment when American pop culture was transitioning from the grunge and Gen X cynicism of the 90s to the pop sheen of the 2000s. It was honestly kind of parodying movies like stoner comedies like Cheech and Chong, Jay and Silent Bob, and like sci-fi tropes like Men in Black and Independence Day. It even follows that action buddy formula of like Lethal Weapon and Rush Hour and like the aforementioned Jay and Silent Bob and Cheech and Chong, and like also has that pop culture obsession with like aliens, Y2K, and like a whole tech hysteria with the Continuum Transfunctioner. Overall, the film kind of functions as a time capsule. It's saturated with early 2000s aesthetics, things like low-rise jeans, a nu metal soundtrack, bright color palettes, and a juvenile humor. It's kind of like a pre-9/11 innocence that would soon vanish from the American media. So while I'm sitting here glazing this movie, I can't sit here and act like it was a complete 10 out of 10 hit out of the park. Its gender and sexual politics don't really hold up to today's standards. It truly was a timepiece. I'm not kidding when I say this movie's like a time capsule, because it really takes you back to a different era of what people accepted as jokes and for laughs. And while the film includes transphobic and sexist elements with like a transgender stripper played for laughs, these reflect common issues in early 2000s comedies. A critical reading would condemn these jokes for reinforcing stereotypes, but also acknowledge how they fit within a broader problematic genre tradition of that era. And interestingly, the film ends with Jesse and Chester being rewarded with gifts from their alien friends, which were necklaces which, when worn by their girlfriends, would enlarge their breasts. And, you know, this really highlights their Arrested Development, boy men seeking not love but approval and validation type of dynamic. So as you can kind of get the gist, this movie definitely came out at a time where the humor was a lot different within the society. Growing up, Dude, Where's My Car has kind of gone triple platinum within my household. I mean, to this day, I'm still quoting different scenes and lines with my siblings because, you know, that's who I grew up watching the movie with. So movies like this are always going to have a special place in my heart for, like, the nostalgia and the memories that I have attached to them. I mean, like, they're still pretty good movies, but, like, they're kind of just eye-opening at how accepted these types of norms were within comedy. I kind of feel like almost anything can be funny, but there's just definitely, like, time, place, you know, like, build-up, delivery, and payoff, all these different things that kind of go into it, but, like, definitely back then there were a lot of movies that would just throw these jokes in just to have them there, just because they know it would get laughs out of people. So in return of that, you kind of just get a lot of tasteless humor that just kind of turns out to be offensive in the end. Even though it was critically panned, the film became a cult classic. It influenced other absurd comedies like Pineapple Express and maybe Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and it had quotable slang like sweet and shibby that became part of the youth's vocabulary. And it also contributed to the evolution of the stoner quest subgenre, where idiocy, luck, and happenstance drive the plot more than logic or character does. And in conclusion, even though this movie may seem like a dumb comedy, and it is, it's also a subversive satire of early 2000s culture, identity, and meaning. Behind the ridiculous plot lies a philosophical meditation on selfhood, responsibility, and the absurdity of modern life. It's most definitely not a masterpiece, but it's definitely way smarter and more culturally insightful than it appears. Real quick, I just want to say thank you for watching this video, and I'm sorry about the mic quality right now. I'm using my Astro gaming headset for a mic. I was using a Blue Snowball, but I do my commentaries on PlayStation, so like Blue Snowball and PlayStation do not mix well. Audio was worse than what this is. So, I don't know, just give me some time. I'm going to keep pumping out some videos. The quality should just keep going up. I mean, it's been going up all these years, so it's just going to keep getting better and better. But if you did enjoy the video, hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. I appreciate it, and I hope to see y'all in the next one. Peace out.
We will now use the power of the Continuum Trans Functioner to banish you to Hoboken, New Jersey.